President Trump meeting with his economic team about the coronavirus and the economy and ostensibly the stock market. All within the past hour. Let's get on to Eamon Javers, who is at the White House with more. Eamon.
Brian, we were told that meeting began shortly after 4 p.m. this afternoon. Not sure whether it's broken up or not, but I can tell you that the vice president's press conference on coronavirus, which was scheduled to start at 5:30, has now been pushed back to the top of 6 p.m. and they have replaced the vice presidential seal at the podium with the presidential seal at the podium. So it seems likely that we will hear from President Trump at the top of the hour now, and we may get a readout on what he decided, if anything, with his economic team. I was told they were going to go into that meeting and present the president with a list of options in terms of economic stimulus and response to the coronavirus economic damage that we've seen so far. So as you take a look at that podium now in the briefing room, we do expect to see the president there shortly here, and we'll also have a chance to ask him about his meetings upcoming with those Wall Street CEOs. That coming up on Wednesday. And then the vice president will be meeting here tomorrow with health insurance executives as well, all as part of the administration's coronavirus response. So we should have a little bit more news for you here in about 20 minutes time, Brian.
I don't want to put you on the spot, Eamon, with rumors and speculation, but I mean, I know you're there. You got your ear to the ground. You're literally seeing some of these folks walk around. Do you think there's any real shot of some kind of massive stimulus pack? I mean, literally, sending a $1,000 check to small business owners or taxpayers?
They're skeptical of that idea here, right? I mean, on Friday, we heard Larry Kudlow dismiss that as helicopter money, pointing out that it hasn't worked in the past, when George W. Bush tried something similar. They don't like that idea here. On the other hand, that was about 3,000 points on the Dow ago that Larry Kudlow said that. So we'll see where the thinking is now. My sense is that what you've got here is a largely free market-oriented economic team and a largely protectionist president of the United States. And so those two things are not always on the same page. And the president is definitely one for big gestures. He's one to sort of go for the moonshot solutions a lot of the time. So you could see a scenario where the president looks at that menu and says, I'm going to go for the biggest possible option here. But we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what they presented him with in that meeting, and that meeting may have just broken up or be about to break up right now.
Hey, Eamon, it's Tim. Can you talk about the health czar talking about the economy today? Can you explain what that was?
It was unusual. So that was the HHS Secretary, Alex Azar, who came out on the driveway behind me this morning. He was doing some television interviews on another network. Then afterward, he came over to where the press was gathered to try to get some questions to him. He came over to the microphones and gave a prepared statement about the stock market and said that the president has delivered the best economy and that the fundamentals of the economy are strong. He reacted to the stock market. He said it's been very active today, but the economy ultimately is strong. That's not a message you typically hear from the Secretary of Health and Human Services at the White House. Usually that's a Treasury Secretary message, a National Economic Council Director message. Presidents, typically don't talk about the stock market really much at all. But in this case, Azar clearly felt like he wanted to deliver that message. He came out, he delivered that message to the microphones, turned and walked away and didn't take a single question. So it was clearly a planned thing, but it's just an unusual thing for them to do that way.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Eamon Javers, Eamon at the White House as we are awaiting that press briefing as well. Guy Adami, if we got some kind of fiscal package, literally stimulus of some kind, small business, direct payments,
right,
will that help the stock market?
Of course it will. I mean, and I don't know the answer to this. Steve does, and I actually don't know the answer. Are there circuit breakers on the way up?
No.
Yeah. Which is fascinating to me.
There used to be, I think, but now there's 11 different stock markets or something. So
you have stuff on the way down, but you don't really have that methodical.
Yeah, I bring it up to point out the absurdity of the whole thing. But absolutely. Now, quickly, if you can remember back to, I think it was February 8th, 2016. Market traded down, the S&P traded down to 1810. If you recall, in August of the previous year, you had the China yuan deval, the market was on thin ice, and it cratered that day. In the aftermarket that day, you saw Jamie Dimon buy a significant portion of JP Morgan stock for himself when the stock, I think, was trading 53. I think you had a Deutsche Bank bond offering as well, and you had some sort of OPEC news. And you had three things. The market never looked back. If we get a hint of that, to your point.
Casinos were buying their stocks, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you get a hint of that, then yes is the answer. You know, that's what the market wants. I'm not necessarily sure it's going to get it. We'll see.